All right, so we are here with friend of the show, getting right into it, Mr. Rick K in the house. I don't have my soundboard, so we'll have to add that in After Effects. Clap, clap. Thanks for coming by. I know you have like several hot dates tonight, of course, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So we couldn't get him here live, but he took the spot of Brooke, and I think honestly he looked much more dashing than Brooke, so that's very important.
No comment.
All right, Cody Bellinger officially named today. They made us wait, but officially named Player of the Month, because I think there would have been absolute hellfire raining down if he was not the Player of the Month.
I mean, it's only the second day of the month, so I guess it didn't make us wait too long. But the longer
That's
it took,
enough.
the more I was like, he's literally leading baseball in every statistical category. How can he not win Player of the Month? So I'm just happy it worked out.
Oddly, when they're talking about, I can't remember the exact graphic, but they're looking at like every position on the field, and they still had to throw Yelich in right field, and then put, even though Cody has what now, I think 7 defensive run saves or something like that in right field. So clearly he's the better defender in right field, but let's throw him at first for funsies, because he's also an exceptional first baseman, and I'm a first baseman, so
There you go.
these are the important things that matter. So break it down. Obviously, we know the stats, him leading the world in just about everything. What about some of those cool, like, all-time Dodger franchise records, some of the baseball records? Like, could you have seen this kid coming out and just blowing up the world in after something of a middling kind of up and down 2018, what he's able to do and what he's able to do to the record books here in the first month?
Well, if you guys were able to like insert footage from previous podcasts,
Yeah.
I did say before the season started that I thought he was going to have a pretty good year, kind of a breakout year, because last year towards the end, I think the last third of the season, all his numbers were up significantly. So I kind of saw that if he made adjustments in the offseason and had a full few months to kind of work out some of the things that he was struggling with, that he could put up good numbers. So I think he was going to hit 425 in the first month of the year. No. But I'm not surprised that he's playing as well as he has been. It's just that he's literally doing everything on the field. So it's been really fun to watch.
It's robbing home runs. He's hit I think it was 47 hits that was March, April, or was that just April?
March and April.
Okay.
Most RBIs before May 1st of all time, tied for the most home runs in the same conversation as Pujols, A-Rod, and Yelich. So that's always good. Like you said, he's leading every category. Some of the splits stuff, I mean, he has the highest average. He's hitting 479 against righties.
Wow.
It's outrageous, which is fine.
They say that's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But then you look at his lefties numbers, and that's an area where he really struggled last year, and he's hitting 333. So his average is up about 112 points year over year against left-handed pitching. So some of the holes, I guess, in his game, he's really patched up in the past offseason.
Yeah, that's what in the offseason we, myself and another one of our writers, had an opportunity to talk with Brant Brown, and Brownie was talking about how much Cody was putting in the work in the offseason. It was just short of obviously completely rebuilding the swing, but you can see a lot in his ability to just stay on everything. The way Dave put it, he has a lot of clubs in the bag right now, and you really do see them. And you see it where he was close in 2018, but he was still getting beat on that curveball. And now, if you have a number on that inside curveball? I know you're the master of having all the numbers, but if not, I could say that it's good.
So it's not curveball specific, but on non-fastballs this year, he's hitting 510.
Oh, wow.
On
Holy
pitches
God.
down in the zone, he's hitting, just low pitches in general, so not even in the zone, he's hitting 489. So he took a hole in his swing where guys trying to bury the ball down on him, either get him to pop it up or roll over on it, and he literally turned it into a strength.
That's
so
crazy.
Both of those obviously are best in Major League Baseball. It's not too many people do it above 500, but other thing I really appreciate is his hustle out there. I mean, not to make a Machado joke, whatever, but 387 on ground balls.
We'll see you this weekend, Manny.
I mean, how many infield singles has he had this season?
Yes.
He's got one of the top sprint speeds both on the team and in Major League Baseball. So using that as a strength, he's beating the shift consistently. He's hitting, what is it? Where's his 2-strike? 357 with 2 strikes this season. It's best in Major League Baseball. So you think of a guy who's now leading Major League Baseball in home runs.
Yes.
You think power swing, swinging for the fences, probably strikes out a lot. No, exact opposite. He has more walks than strikeouts. He has a 356 average and over a 400 on base percentage with 2 strikes. So a guy who literally can hit for power, and then when he falls behind the counter, gets in 2-strike situations, can shorten up and find ways to get on base, find ways to move runners over, score runs. Whatever it takes to be successful.
Yeah, he really has been the complete package of a player this season. And I'm not going to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy ever so slightly because people now were looking at 1 month. It's 1 month. Obviously, he had an exceptional, just about all around, save for September, an exceptional 2017 rookie season. Still was very good in 2018. But now, you look at the kind of Mike Trout relation to things, the way Trout has always done. Every offseason, he goes in with a plan to fix a hole in the game. Somebody says, oh, you can't defend. He goes out and becomes a plus defender by just about every defensive metric. You can't throw anybody out. Now, all of a sudden, people don't want to run on him anymore. Obviously, I'm way out of left field saying that Cody and Trout are in the same breath. But what he's doing is somewhat Trout-esque.
That's fair to say. I mean, with the asterisk or the caveat being that it's 1 month. Mm-hmm. So if this continues for 2 months, 3 months, not to say he's got to hit 425 every month. That'd be obviously record-setting.
I demand it.
At that. But, I mean, to put up these types of numbers, to be as solid of a player, not go through any slumps. I mean, I think he's reached base in all but one game, and that one game he didn't even start.
Yeah.
So he's reached base in every game he started this season, obviously hitting above 400. So if you could do this consistently throughout the year, then you could start having the conversation of him and Mike Trout kind of the AL, NL version of each other. But, obviously 1 month you don't want to jump to a conclusion. You could say you had a Trout-like month.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump to conclusions. People aren't going to call us out on it. Look at how adorable we are. That's not going to happen.
Like
He's Jim from The Office. Sorry, it's Michael Scott over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Coming at you live with Michael Scott. I know we're just after this segment, in real lifetime, Brooke is going to get into some of the numbers that Cody's on pace to put up. I'm saying he's going to probably put up about 8,000 home runs this year, minimum. Yeah. Minimum. That's guaranteed from both of us right here. That's Joe Davis. I am Oral Hershiser. Wait, last time you were Hershiser. I threw everything off.
Yeah,
but so we're here. We got the positives on it. Anything else you want to throw out on Bellinger?
I was just going to say, I mean, you mentioned the defense earlier. Let's see, I have some written down. 8 defensive run saves is third most among Major League outfielders behind Trout and Lorenzo Cain, who are pretty good.
Yes.
His UZR is at 3.7. It's the second best among outfielders. And he has 4 outfield assists, which is tied for the most in the National League. So a guy who is doing it offensively but also doing it defensively as well. So you have a well-rounded player, which we always knew he was very good defensively, but for a guy who played the majority at first base 2 years ago, started to play a little bit more outfield last year, and now has turned himself into one of the best outfielders in the league is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I brought up, and I hate continuing to go here, but we tend to bring up our ex for a while after the fact, and you look at what Cody's done in right field, you really haven't had an opportunity to miss what Puig did. And he's engaged in every play. He's making those plays. He was pissed at himself for just missing that one in Triples Alley on I think it was the middle game, but then he goes and makes that play to save Ryu's bacon on Wednesday night and make Rick a very happy boy.
He was very happy.
I mean, also just to quickly touch on Ryu, how insane was that? Because he just looked like he was going to be cooked in the second inning, by the second inning, and then all of a sudden he throws up eight innings, just allowing that one run in the first. That is remarkable. You picked the right guy.
It's very Ryu-like if you think about it. That was a very good investment in me early last year, but it's very Ryu-like to kind of go out slow and not really know what you're going to get from that day, but in the back of your mind, okay, this guy's going to give us length and he's going to give us quality innings and quality pitches. And I think with the arsenal that he has, to say that, okay, yeah, he got hit around a little bit the first few batters of the game, but afterwards settle in and shut down that. Let's be honest, the Giants' offense isn't exactly explosive, but regardless, I was pretty happy with how that worked out, obviously, for him to go 8 innings after how that game started.
Yeah, that's you could go ahead and throw that in. That start kind of checked all the boxes on what you want in every fifth day and what you want in somebody I've always looked at as one of the co-aces of the team, even back to the Kershaw Greinke days.
I got one more Bellinger thing, by the way. I was looking at this earlier, and I was kind of blown away by it. But just looking at his zone profile, he's hitting 467 on pitches outside of the strike zone, which means he's actually hitting lower than that on pitches in the strike zone. But the difference is the slugging. So he slugs 700 on pitches outside the strike zone, which is pretty good, well above league average.
Yeah,
slugging 928 when you pitch in the zone. So you basically have to decide: do we pitch outside the zone and walk him, or just give up a single, maybe a double, or do we throw in the zone and pretty much just give up extra base hits? So you decide. His one weak area when I looked at the zone profile was up in the zone. I think he's only hitting 270. So
Hack.
It's not great. I mean, maybe we'll see more guys try to blow fastballs by him up there, but that's kind of in the one area where he hasn't been as good.
And I asked you before we hit record here to help me help Dodgers Nation when it comes to talking us all off a ledge. Give me a silver lining, give me something positive on first CT3. If you can't, you happily push that bail button.
It's a little bit harder. CT3 has been struggling now for pretty much all the last year and 33 games we've played this season. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit tougher. The thing with CT3 is it seems like his swing's a little long. He's still swinging and missing far too much. He has shown pretty good plate coverage. He's not taking too many. Last year, he took far too many called third strikes.
Oh, yes.
This is a situation where, and it's a good and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing in that he's swinging at good pitches. It's a bad thing in that he's missing good pitches. He's missing a lot of pitches over the middle of the plate. But, at least last year, like I said, he took far too many called third strikes. Didn't really seem like he was comfortable at the plate, whereas he seems comfortable. Now it's just a matter of, okay, how do we make more contact with those? So, I don't know. I'm looking for CT3 to put the ball in play more. We saw a couple infield singles that he's had of late. Maybe that can get him going. He's at his best when he's driving the ball, when he's using the opposite field, and he hasn't quite done that yet this year. So once you start seeing those line drives towards right center, that's when you know, okay, he's kind of figuring things out. So
yeah, the other big guy that we absolutely cannot live without in the grand scheme of things, Corey Seager. Well, do you see anything numbers-wise that we can, bank on? Anything you just see with your keen baseball eye? Help me feel better about Corey right now, because I've been on Corey. I've been saying he's going to get there. He's going to get there. He'll figure it out. Almost being like Dave. With he's going through it, but he's putting on good swings. He's not putting on good swings right now.
He does look a little lost just over the last 4 or 5 games. Mm-hmm. I know people have said it 100 times, but this is a guy who missed almost an entire full baseball season.
Yeah.
How long did he go without seeing live pitching? Even through spring training, he was just doing side sessions, little side off pitchers. So it's not like he has a whole lot of game action over the past 12 months. Mm-hmm. But that said, he's still hitting, I believe, 267, 268, something like that against right-handed pitching. Okay. When you look at the Giants series, yes, he certainly struggled, but that's Bumgarner, left-hand starter, and Pomeranz, left-hand starter. So
people tell me Bumgarner's good. I don't know.
He's decent.
I've never seen it.
He's been okay. You might have a future in this business. But and then you factor in Will Smith coming out of the pen. You factor in Tony Watson coming out of the pen. So a lot of his at-bats are coming against left-handed pitchers where he's hitting about 140, 150 this year. So you'd obviously like to see those splits a little bit more even, a little bit higher on both sides. But the fact that he struggled against lefties isn't too shocking in today's day and age where lefties struggle against lefties. And the fact that he's faced a lot of them of late just hasn't bode well for. I mean, you go back to the Cubs series where he played a little better. He had a couple of hits against left-handed pitchers. So, it's probably sits worse right now because he is, I think, like 1 for his last 18, whatever it is. But, before that, he was on a streak where I think over the previous 12 games, he was hitting around 350. So I don't know that you're going to – I think it always looks worse when you compare it to, okay, we have our other guy who came up around the same time who was hitting 425.
Yes.
And we remember this Rookie of the Year, like 2-time All-Star before he got hurt. But at the end of the day, I mean, his first year back, kind of feeling into things, if he hits 250 around the All-Star break, I'll be pretty happy with that. Yeah. Thinking that he can turn on in the second half.
Yeah, because that's 2 major operations when you're going through elbow and then the hip, which I feel the hip doesn't get enough credit in the grand scheme of things. The elbow doesn't play too much for him, even with him being a left-handed swinger. It's right elbow, but hopefully he figures it out. That's what we need. That's what I command. This is FRG signing off.